Your success map is one of the most important things you'll ever build. Driven Mofos, welcome back to another episode of The Underestimated Entrepreneur. This time we have a special Q&A. Now what I did was last week I threw out on my Instagram account, which has a brand new thread. It's Michael_Mojo_success. For those of you who follow along on there, I put it out to the community and I said, what questions do you want me to answer on the podcast? And so for the next couple of days, I'm going to be answering these questions. I'm going to do one at a time. So let me go through these questions here. So the first question, let's have a look. I believe it's from Lahasa. And his question is, how do I set up my success map? All right, now I talk about my success map a lot. Why? Because it is the most important thing I believe that a human will ever do. Most people don't know what they want in life. They don't know where they're going. They don't know how to handle their own mindset. They don't know how to control their emotions. And they don't know how to create consistent behaviors and consistent patterns in their life by consistently increasing their standards and leveraging their success map. So if you want to achieve great results, the first thing that you have to do is you need to know where you're going. Most people have no idea. I was speaking to somebody today and I said, they're a business owner, right? They've got a multi-million-dollar business. And I said, look, why did you get into this in the first place? And he said, I don't know. It was just an opportunity. And I said, well, that's a bad idea. No wonder why you're struggling mentally. No wonder why you wake up every day and feel like shit. No wonder why you wake up every day and you feel tired and you don't like your staff and you're frustrated. And he's like, well, it's not that bad. And I was like, well, that's not what you say every time I ask you about your business. So if we don't know why we do what we do, if we don't know what we're trying to achieve, then it is very, very hard to be consistent over a long period of time, which is going to lead to your success. Also, it is hard to manage your own mindset when you don't know what you're aiming for in life. It's really hard. Imagine getting in a car and just being told to drive. And then eventually you run out of fuel and you're like, shit, I didn't realize I'd run out of fuel. Well, of course you're going to run out of fuel because you don't know where you're going and you're just driving around trying to figure it out. That's how most people live. That's why their energy is shit. That's why their mindset is crap. That's why they're not getting the results that they want. So how do we transform that? Well, we create a success map. Now, how did I come across this? Well, I was doing all these personal development events. I used to go to the personal development events, jump up and down, high five strangers. I used to go to all these events. I'd get jacked up. I'd get motivated. I'd learn all this stuff that was out there. I did all the breath work. Like I've been doing, the breath work's like the newest fad thing. The same as ice baths. I've been doing ice baths for about, 16 years or something like that. Same as the breath work. A lot of this stuff has been out for a long, long, long time. You know, Wim Hof came out, like 10, 12 years ago at least. You know, he sort of became semi-popular in the underground communities, in the underground health communities. Paul Chek was talking about stuff like ice baths around the 2000s with guys like Laird Hamilton, the big wave surfer and all those guys. I know Tony Robbins has been doing ice baths for like 12, 15 years. I was doing all that stuff and I still wasn't getting the results that I wanted. I would work really, really hard. I would burn out. I would get frustrated at myself. I would beat myself up mentally and emotionally. I would feel shit about myself. I would feel like I wasn't where I wanted to be in life. So after having, I guess you could say, a bit of a mental breakdown one day where I just felt like shit because I'd invested all this money in personal development and personal growth and I still felt stuck, I went to a cafe. Now in South Australia, there's a road called Frederick Road and there was a little cafe called the Perfect Cup. I sat there for 4 days and I was just mapping out all these tools that I had, all these bits and pieces that I learned from studying things like kinesiology, ancient Chinese philosophy, a whole bunch of different philosophers, personal development, personal growth, studying and diving into some of the fields of psychiatry, psychology, neuroscience. Now, back then, it's not even close to what I know now, but I was just sort of dabbling in that stuff and sort of trying to figure out tools and what I could use. And so I sat there and I created a map for my own life. That map changed my life and it put me on track to, I guess, where I am now. Now that map has been improved because I've been running my Thrive Time event now for about maybe 12 years. I wasn't sure, but I saw something pop up on Facebook the other day and it showed like the first event we had, I think was about 12 years ago. So that's how long it's been running for. And I update the program every time I run an event, I'm updating it. So I'm consistently updating the program and the process that we go through during Thrive Time and building your success map. Why? Because when I learn new tools or I get insights from myself or when I'm working with clients, I add it into the program. Because what I'm trying to do is get the fastest results in the shortest period of time. And that's why I believe Thrive Time is the greatest personal development event on the planet. I was even talking to one of our clients today, Ben McGreen. Now, he started with us, 12 months ago. I took him out today, picked him up in the McLaren, and we went out for brunch or breakfast or whatever. He said, in the last 12 months, his business has grown 100%. Now, the business was already doing a couple of $1 million a year in revenue, so you can see how quick that it has grown. But he said the best thing has been that I'm less stressed. I feel more free than what I ever have. I have great managers. He just went on a 2 or 3 week holiday, and he said no one even called me. Like, the business has just been running smooth. And he said that's all thanks to getting my mindset right. Now, that has a lot to do with what he learned at Thrive Time. So he joined Business Growth Odyssey, thinking that he wanted to grow his business. But when he came to Thrive Time, he realized that his mindset was the biggest factor that was going to help his business to grow. And if he could improve his mindset, he'd improve his business massively. And he has. He said, I'm a better dad. I'm fitter than what I've ever been. He said, I woke up today. It's a public holiday here in Adelaide. He said, I woke up this morning and went to the gym early on. And he was like, I've never done that before. So he's created this new lifestyle, which is pretty impressive. But anyway, let's talk about what the success map is. Now, the first thing that we want to do is we need to find out what fulfills you in life. Because anytime we're trying to achieve something great, we need to understand what fulfills us. Because I'm not going to commit to something that I'm not going to follow through on for a long period of time, because the chances of me giving up along the way are heightened if we're not doing something that fulfills us. So I love training and I love exercising. Therefore, I do it most days. Do I miss a day? Yeah, but I get straight back onto it the following day because I love it. Because I'm fulfilled in training and exercising, I've been training consistently since I was like 13 years of age. The chances of you succeeding over a long period of time are very much heightened because you're doing something fulfilling. Now, fulfillment doesn't mean joy. A lot of people say, they want to find things that they're passionate about or things that are joyful. They're the wrong emotions. Confucius said that chasing happiness is the cause of unhappiness. What he's saying is that if you chase happiness, you become unhappy in the pursuit of the thing. Fulfillment means that you're doing something that's purposeful. It's challenging, but you enjoy the challenge of doing it. So it has both sides. It's not good or it's not bad. It's both. I'm not happy doing these podcasts, but I'm not unhappy doing these podcasts. I just love doing it. I am both happy and unhappy. There's other shit that I could be doing, but I also love doing it because this is what I love to do and this is my gift to the world. I explain a lot of this in the performance psychology part of Thrive Time because it is so important. Now, the mystics, the philosophers, the great scientists have been talking about this for thousands of years. It is ignored by a lot of the people right now in the mental health community, in the psychology community, in the university fields. They don't talk about this idea of that when you do something you love, you take on challenge and you create self-imposed adversity. But by working through that self-imposed adversity, you create your own self-worth, self-love, self-respect, self-confidence, which is what you're really searching for. I don't wake up and even think about happiness. If someone asks me, are you happy? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't know because I don't even think about it. I just don't care. I don't care about happiness. I don't care about comfort. I don't care about discomfort. What I do is I wake up every day being purposeful, intentional, and creating a meaningful journey within my own life. And because of that, I get both sides. There are moments I'm unhappy. There are moments that I'm happy. There are moments that I'm comfortable. There are moments that I'm uncomfortable. But because I'm growth driven, the growth is the fulfilling part. So I just focus on the growth. I don't focus on my emotions and all the shit that most people focus on, which is why I love my life. Right? Most people don't love their life. And then they come to me and they're like, oh, well, that sounds miserable. And I'm like, yeah, but you're fucking miserable. So the only way that you can analyze how I live is because you're either happy or unhappy. Therefore, if you're not happy, you must chase happiness. It's the wrong way of thinking about it. And this has been around for thousands of years in philosophy, but most people just don't study this stuff. They listen to clowns, right? There's a lot of clowns out there who just make shit up. If you go and study etymology, which is the history and the meaning of words, the word passion means to suffer. The word compassion means to suffer with others. Why? Because when we're passionate about something, we chase an upside or a positive without a negative. I don't chase my passions. I don't even give a shit about my passions. I go and do what I love. And love has both sides. If you love your intimate partner, they are your best friend and your worst enemy. They are both. They bring happiness and unhappiness to your life at the same time. Right? That's love. Anyone with kids knows this as well. They will be your dream and they will be your nightmare. But why do you love your kids? Because they force you to grow. They force you to internalize. They force you to become better as people. That's why you love kids. So when we love something, we tend to grow more because it's in our life, but it brings both sides. Most people have never studied this stuff, and I've had debates with, people in different fields about this, and I can go back and show you the study of this. It's just that when you've never really understood it, you don't know how to live it, so it sounds weird. And that's the problem, is that most people have been brought up to believe that their emotions are important, so therefore they live emotionally, but that often pulls them off track of what they would love to do. Okay, so they chase ease, they chase comfort, they chase simplicity, they chase freedom, but all of those things bring the other side. So most people, they want financial freedom, but the more money they make, the more they become trapped. And so they keep thinking that more money is going to bring them freedom, but it's a delusion. It never happens. If you ask any rich person, they're like, I'm just as trapped as I'm free. I can do shit, but also it has consequences. They get it. They get the game. So Thrive Time is based on 3 pillars, and these are how you build your success map. Well, the first 2 are how you build a success map, and the third pillar is the performance psychology. So first pillar, fulfillment. What creates fulfillment? You have, first of all, your values. Now, your values are unique to you. They're based on a field of study called axiology. They are not things like kindness and happiness and compassion and all of that shit. If you've been taught that, someone has lied to you, because they're not real values. Real values are physical, tangible things that are important within your own life, and everyone has different values. Now, I would say that 99% of people say that family is important, but probably about 5% of people have it as their number one value. Yet most people will lie to themselves because they've been told by someone else in their family that family is the most important thing. So they have something called an implanted value. Those implanted values create self-sabotage patterns and self-destructive behaviors. So the more you try to live in someone else's values, the more you try to people please, and the more it creates confusion in your own life. So what I have to do normally at Thrive Time is help you to break that pattern of behavior. And I have certain tools to do that. But what you really need to be clear on is your top 3 values, because you'll spend about 90 to 95% of your time in your top 3 values. And your top 3 values is how you live life, and your life normally demonstrates those values. So for me, if I look at how I live, I spend most of my time studying, learning, teaching, and coaching. That's my number 1 value. My second highest value is people and connection. That's my second highest value. My third highest value is business and wealth creation. And my fourth highest value is physical movement and physical appearance. Now, if I have a look at my week, my months, and my year, the majority of my calendar is filled out with those 4 values. Why? Because I'm predictable, reliable, dependable. I'm more focused in those areas. I'm more driven to want to achieve things in those areas. And even when I'm not doing them, I think about them, which tells me that my brain is wired to think about growth in that area. Now, I'll give you an example of where people get values wrong. They'll say family is my highest value, yet when they're sitting at home, they might be sitting on the couch and thinking about work. And then when they're at work, they're thinking about work. It tells you that work's their highest value, because your brain will always take you back to unfulfilled highest values. I can dive more deep into this. I've done podcast episodes before on value systems, but I'm one of the top coaches on the planet when it comes to value systems, both in business and personally. They are the most important human driver that you will come across. So if you help people to get clear on their values, it normally reduces their self-sabotage patterns, reduces their self-destructive behaviors, and also it allows them to structure their time more effectively, and they procrastinate less. Okay, they'll have more courage, more ability to want to push themselves in those areas as well. So there's 2 types of stress. There's distress and there's eustress. Eustress is beneficial stress. Beneficial stress comes from taking on challenges within your value set. That's why it's so important, because maximum growth in a human is achieved by them going after their highest values. Maximum growth happens when you can take on the highest amount of stress without breaking down. That's within those top values. So that's the most important part of the fulfillment pillar. Then the second thing is, once you get clear on your values, you come across your purpose. Now, with your purpose, it normally takes me anywhere between about 3 to 5 minutes to help someone define their purpose once they get clear on their values. Now, I just saw a coach here in Australia who's done some of my courses before. I was just flicking through Instagram, and all of a sudden I saw it said, discover your purpose. And he's always talking about your purpose. And then I noticed that he'd copied my shit from Thrive Time word for word and put it on a slideshow without even referencing me. And I thought, you motherfucker, that's all of my research and stuff like that. But anyway, it is what it is. If you struggle to get clear with your life purpose, and all of us have our life purpose, which is why we do what we do. So my life purpose is to help people perform better. My business purpose or my business mission is to help people perform better in life and business, and to create businesses that help people perform better. Your purpose should be a short statement about why you exist and why you wake up every day, and why you're taking on these challenges and adversities that you'll go through. So that's the second step in the pillar of fulfillment. And then finally, when you're clear on your values and your life purpose, you'll understand what type of lifestyle balance you need. I'm recording this podcast at 5:49, and I've got coaching calls and stuff like that tonight until about 7:30. I've been awake since 4 o'clock this morning and been back to back all day. And I love it. I wouldn't do anything else. I don't feel tired. I'm wide awake. I'm ready to roll. And actually, I think I'm only about 400 calories into the day so far. So I haven't eaten a lot. But I can do that because of my lifestyle balance, because I balance my life based on what I'm trying to achieve, my mission, my purpose, but also my values. So today, my whole day has been built on my values. If you live more of your values, your energy will increase. When you live with fantasies, delusions, or implanted values from other people, your energy will drop. I was only working with a client a couple of weeks ago who owns a multi-million-dollar business here in Adelaide. And he had been going and getting different treatments from doctors and stuff like that, and on different supplementation and medication because he had really bad energy. I worked with him for about 2 hours. We went out for lunch and I worked on some patterns. And he's like, holy shit, my energy's come back. When you live with implanted values, your mind is always chaotic because there's part of you that knows what you would love to do. And then there's part of you that thinks that you should be doing other things based on what other people want you to do and be. The more you live for everybody else and for everybody else's opinion, the more your energy is going to decrease and the more you're going to self-sabotage. Hence why you have to crack your implanted values. Because the more you live with implanted values, that essentially is everybody else's voice inside your mind. The other week when I was talking to someone who wanted to join my Business Growth Odyssey program, they said, I have to go and ask my partner. And I said, why? And they said, well, we both like to make financial decisions together. And I said, that's a really bad idea. Now you can go back and listen to my other podcast episodes about couples and about how you align values. The person in the relationship who has the higher value should always make the decision. So if one person has a higher value on family, they should be responsible for making decisions around family. And if someone else has decisions about money, then they should make decisions about money. Because your brain is wired to make better decisions based around your higher values. So you actually make better decisions and the right decision more often. Okay, this is something most people don't know. And then if the decision is family and financial, then you need to come together, use your values and communicate effectively in order to come up with an optimum solution. But your lifestyle balance should be based on your values, not based on this whole like work life, family, friends, gym, idealistic life, because that's stupid. And I meet people all the time, they're like, I just want work-life balance. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I've got a wicked life, amazing life, right? Most people want my fucking life because I just get to do what I love to do every day. And that's what most people want. But I don't even know what work-life balance is. I just fill up my calendar with shit that I would love to do and I do it. That's it. I don't even think about work-life balance. If I want to spend time with Jess, I spend time with her. But when I'm done, I get back to work and I keep working on things that are fulfilling to me. Most people have this idealistic lifestyle that they think they want. But what it is it's destructive to their values and their purpose because they've been convinced by other people who aren't living a great life how to live. So pillar number 1, you got to get clear on your top 3 to 4 values. Then from there, you can get clear on your life purpose, which is why you do what you do. Then from there, you can effectively create some form of lifestyle balance that works for you. That's pillar 1. Pillar number 2 is all around your visions. Now, your mind keeps popping up these visions consistently. Those visions are meaningful to you. I have seen myself standing on large-scale stages since I was 21 years of age speaking in front of people. That's what drives me. I've been wanting to go to America to do more stuff in America. Now, I've had the doorways open. In September, it looks like I'm heading across there, and I might run a millionaires mastermind for a bunch of business owners that I'm going to take from Australia across there, and we'll go hang out. But I already have contacts with a billionaire who's got a massive yacht, some big heavy hitters and speakers and stuff like that over in the US that I've been connecting with. I'm probably going to go around and do podcasts while I'm over there. But I would also love to hook up with some people in the community and go and hang out and do some cool stuff over there. But those doorways are starting to open because I keep thinking about that. Those visions keep popping up in my mind. So those visions you need to document, right? You need to write them down because if they keep reoccurring, they're reoccurring for a reason. Now you could say that it's God placing a thought in your mind that he wants you to go after. Maybe it's the universe placing something in your mind that you need to go after. Maybe it's something that's important to you and meaningful to you. I don't know. I don't know where that comes from, and I haven't been able to find out answers. I'm a highly philosophical person, so I love reading philosophy and I love deep thinking. But at the same time, I'm also heavily scientific, so I like to go and find out why things happen. I haven't been able to find out conclusively why we keep having these certain visions that are unique to us. I don't know. There are lots of different theories out there. But anyway, you need to document your visions. Then from there, you create a mission, a life mission. And as I said, my life mission is to build businesses that help people perform better in life and business. So my life purpose, my why I do what I do, is to help people perform better. My mission is to build businesses that help people perform better. That's my mission. Then from there, you set goals. Now, you should only be setting goals when you're clear on your mission and when you document your visions. If not, you're probably setting fantasies and delusions and chasing after something that you think is going to lead to a better life. But when you get there, you may not be as fulfilled as what you actually think that you will be. And most driven people are like that. This is why I work with people who do really well in business who want to kill themselves because they've been chasing something for a long, long time. And then when they get it, they realize it's not what they really wanted. So the best thing that you can do is to work on that pillar and to get really, really clear. But also you need to know what fulfills you. So you've got pillar number 1 is fulfillment. Pillar number 2 is your direction and your drive. What are you driven towards? What are you driven to achieve? Okay, so let's go back over that again. Fulfillment comes from your top 3 to 4 values and prioritizing them effectively. Then from there, we have our life purpose. Then we have our lifestyle balance. Now, as we move on to the second pillar is drive and direction. We need to document our visions that keep occurring in our mind about what we really love in life, what we're really chasing. Then we turn that into a mission. A mission is a small, concise statement about what you are going to do in life. So your life purpose is why, your mission is what. Then from there, you create goals. Those goals, you can have long-term goals, 10 years and 5 years. You can break it down into a 1-year goal and then you break it down into quarters. If you do that, you'll crush it, you'll stay driven, and you just keep working towards those things. Now, if you're a business owner, you can do the same thing, but you'd have strategic plans and all of those sort of things. But anyway, that's a whole different story. And then finally, the third pillar is performance psychology. You have to have the right tools to keep your mindset primed. There is a law called the law of chaos or the law of entropy, which essentially is chaos theory. And this theory is that everything in the universe goes to its most chaotic state or it moves back to a chaotic form. I believe our mindset is wired for chaos. It will naturally turn back and revert to shit if you don't hold it accountable. And so every day when my alarm goes off, I'm like, no, I want to stay in bed. That's chaos. You know what? Just eat the pizza. That's chaos. I have those battles throughout the day and I just got to keep grinding them away. And that's what creates discipline. The more you do that, you create self-worth, self-love, self-respect, self-confidence. But also, I've created one of the world's most advanced mental and emotional balancing tools called the process of potential, or the POP. The process of potential is all about balancing out the charges in your brain based on a couple of different laws. So there's something called Hebb's law, which is circuits in the brain that fire together, wire together. Now, if we're firing negative thoughts, what we want to do is we want to collapse those thoughts. Now, I don't recommend just creating positive thoughts because we can be trapped in a positive negative loop. For any of those who are interested in psychology or anything like that, impulse is when you move towards something. Instinct is when you move away from it. Instinct is fear-based and impulse is pleasure-based. So people naturally, when they think about positives and negatives or goods and bads, goods means move towards, it's pleasureful, and bad means move away from. But what happens is when we do that, normally things that we're impulsively driven to do eventually end up bad. Those bad things eventually reinforce fear. When we're fearful, we create more impulses. So what can happen is a lot of people get stuck in life in these vicious cycles or going around in circles. And sometimes these circles or these feedback loops or these vicious cycles can take anywhere between a couple of months to years to go through. Some people go through the same relationship patterns, but it takes them 3 to 5 years to go through that same cycle. Some people do it financially and it might be a 12, 24, or even 5-year cycle. Like a lot of people that I come across over the years, they might have a 5-year cycle where they get ahead financially and then they lose everything, and then get ahead financially and lose everything. Or they get ahead financially and end up back at zero. Get ahead financially, end up back at zero. They don't go bankrupt, but they just end up with no money. And so this is a pattern of behavior. I was working with a business owner today. We were talking about this. And he said every time he gets ahead financially, he just reinvests it back into growth of either the business or a new idea. But then all it does is it just creates more stress and pressure, and he ends up back still struggling financially. That's a cycle. So that's why you have to break those patterns. There's something called the memory and anti-memory hypothesis, or it's actually called the anti-memory hypothesis, which neuroscientists discovered that the brain balances itself out. It's trying to stay balanced and in its most neutral form because that's where wisdom is created. So the more wise you are, the more balanced you are. That's why I don't recommend chasing positives or getting away from negatives, because it creates feedback loops. But anyway, I dive deeper into that at Thrive Time. I won't get too much of that in here. But what you need is you need pillar 3 to keep tuning your mind so that you can keep going after bigger and bigger goals. If you do that, you'll have a fulfilling life, providing that you've got pillar number 1 and pillar number 2 right. This is why I work all the time. People can't understand it. Like, it's a public holiday today in Adelaide and I'm working. Why? Because I love it. I wouldn't do anything else. Like, when I see people going out and getting drunk, I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, that's cool if you're 26 years of age, but if you're getting paro on the weekend and you're 35, 40, 45, and 50 years of age, my question is, what the fuck are you trying to escape? Why is your life so shit that you need to drink to numb yourself? Because that's essentially what you're doing. And let's be honest, no intelligent person says, I gave up the drink and my life turned to shit. But people say, I drank too much and I became an alcoholic and fucked up my whole life, including my family, financially, everything. The same thing happens with drugs. So when people say, oh, alcohol's not that bad, and are you trying to justify that to yourself or to me? Because it's not good, right? It's not an intelligent thing to do. That happens quite a lot because especially in most cultures, we reinforce this idea of drinking, and masculinity is also related to drinking. Like, if you can get pissed or drink more than your friends, then you're better than them. Right? It's like this silly male domination thing where it's like, if I can drink more than my friends, that means that I'm more masculine or more of a man, or, you know, I'm winning at something. Here's what you're winning at. You're winning at being more fucked up in the head. That's what you're winning at, right? Because if you're convincing yourself that you need to drink in order to prove your value to your friends, first of all, they're probably not that great of friends. And second of all, if your relationships with your friendship circle or your family or people around you or your peers is based on alcohol or drugs, you really have to sit down and have a really good fucking think about life, right? I used to put up with that shit with people around me. These days I don't. I've got friends of mine and they're like, oh, we just go to the bathroom. And I'm like, oh, what are you going to the bathroom for? And they're like, oh, you know, a bit of this and a bit of that. And I'm like, dude, what are you, like 15? You're like a 45-year-old man. And you guys are going to the bathroom doing lines of coke. Is your life that shit that you need an external substance that's made in a mountain where they use petrochemicals and shit like that in order to try to extract some sort of, you know, neurotropic substance out of it so that you can feel fucking better about your life? Really? Come on. And so I give them shit. Now, a lot of those friends have given up drugs and alcohol because of me, because I do give them shit around that, because it does not enhance the quality of their life. If anything, it fucks up the quality of their life. They're just not smart enough to know because everybody else around them does it. Or they think that it's cool because they watch movies like Scarface. And we all know how that ended. It ended really, really well. You know, El Chapo, that ended really, really well, right? He's crushing it in life now. All of these drug kingpins have cool stories, but they end up not doing that well in life, right? So, you know, what goes up has to come back down. And normally the higher, the lower, the low. And yeah, they live a pretty high life, but they also live a pretty low life as well. You know, my best friend got done for drug charges and all that sort of stuff that I grew up with. And we've been good mates. Hopefully he's listening to this now. The stories that he used to tell me, I was like, holy shit, dude, like this is the most craziest lifestyle ever. And I found it absolutely fascinating. But at the same time, he lost everything. He lost his kids for a while. He lost his relationship. Most of his family gave up on him. He ended up in jail. Like, this is what happens. Now, you might be sitting there saying, oh, you know, a bit of this and a bit of that isn't too bad. It's not too fucking good either. Right? You're better than that. And if you're in my community, you're better than that. I help people really come alive in life. When you live a great life, you don't need that shit. I don't need that shit. That's why I go out now and people are like, go and just have a drink. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, go, because it's like, just have one. It's not that bad. And I'm like, are you trying to convince me or are you trying to convince yourself? Because I live a fucking great life. And my life is probably better than yours. That's why I'm not drinking. Now, that might sound arrogant. I probably am. Right? But you get my point anyway. So coming back to Thrive Time, we want to create mental and emotional balancing so that then we can live our values more. The more we crack away implanted values and mental and emotional imbalances, the more we get to just stay on our path and life becomes amazing. I can guarantee it. Almost everyone that's done Thrive Time. Now, when I say almost, there's always exceptions to the rules. Yeah, we've had some ball bags come to Thrive Time before and, not do any work or not do anything. That happens 1 in 1,000 people. But after having tens of thousands of people come to the event, most people that have come have said it's a life changer or a game changer for them. Business owners, non-business owners, families. We've had people come to the event with their kids. Their kids like crush it in life if they can learn this stuff when they're like 11, 12, 13, 15, 18 years of age. We've had people with depression, anxiety, eating addictions, drug addictions, suicidal, all of that shit as well. Like we get all that. We get people who come straight out of jail and they want to try to get their life back together and they come and do the event. But also we've had some of the biggest high-level people in the fields of business and sport come and do that event as well, and they love it. So my point is that if you can build your success map in life, you'll crush it in life. Your inability to be really clear with your success map in life is probably going to be your limitation. So Lahasa, I hope that answers your question, mate. Really great question. And, I hope for everyone out there, it gave a really good insight into Thrive Time. If you want to come and attend that event, there's 2 ways of doing it. So we have the online module. So the online is you can do it anywhere in the world, anytime. It's a 12-month access to the Thrive Time Hub. And in there, it helps you break down every one of those key components. So you work on it at your own pace in the comfort of your own home or wherever you're at, and you get to build your own success map. Plus, it gives you all the performance psychology tools so you can start implementing them and executing them. Now, at the moment, we have a deal where you get the ticket to the live event as well. Now, the live event is in Australia only at the moment, but we have people fly from around the world to come and do that event. I fly to America, to South Africa, to, all different places to go and study different courses. I did even when I didn't have a lot of money. I would save up and I would hop on a plane and I would travel. Okay, because I just wanted to be around the right people and get the right knowledge. So we have people flying from around the world to come and attend our Thrive Time event live. If you're overseas, my recommendation is just hop on, do it because you get the access to the hub, and then you get a free ticket to the Thrive Time event. If you choose to come, you can come. If you can't, it doesn't really matter. It's a free ticket anyway. But if you're in Australia, you get the online membership hub, but you also get a ticket to the live event and you can come and sit that event live, hang out with like-minded people and so on. But again, it's a free ticket, or it's a bonus ticket for you, which means if you can't attend, you don't lose anything because the online hub helps you to do exactly the same thing that I teach at the live event. It's just that the live event, I'm there a lot more and we work through patterns and stuff like that while you're in the room. So that's just the difference between the two. A lot of people send me messages and they're like, I can't attend the live event. I'm like, I know. That's why we created it online so that you can do it anywhere in the world, anytime. But anyway, Lahasa, I hope that answers the question. I really appreciate it, mate. I know you've jumped onto our Dominate program as well. You're in that community, but I really appreciate it. Have a great day. I look forward to joining me back here once again for another episode of The Underestimated Entrepreneur, and I'll be coming back with another question from the community. Most people waste their life, and I just don't want you to be one of them.